Hello, little adventurers, and welcome to our magical story time. Are you ready for an exciting tale? Let's journey deep into the heart of the colorful forest, a place filled with sparkling rivers, rainbow-colored leaves, and the friendliest creatures you'll ever meet. Our story begins with a very special resident of this forest. His name is Zaro, a little lion cub with a coat as golden as the morning sun and eyes that sparkled like amber. Zaro had a big dream. One day, he wanted to be the strong and brave guardian of the entire forest. He was full of courage, always curious, and ready for action, even if he didn't always think things through first. Every morning, Zaro practiced his roar. He wanted it to be mighty and powerful, just like his father's. He would take a deep, deep breath, puff out his chest, and let out the biggest sound he could make. Roar. He'd shout, though it sounded more like a loud squeak. But Zaro didn't give up. He knew that with practice, his little roar would one day shake the trees. One sunny afternoon, Zaro found a perfect sunny spot near a field of giggle blossoms. This is it, he thought. Today, I'll make my mightiest roar ever. Heat. Took an even deeper breath than usual, filled his lungs with the sweet forest air, and let out a sound so loud it surprised even himself. Roar. It wasn't a squeak this time. It was a real rumbling roar. The leaves on the nearby bushes trembled, and a few sleepy flowers popped open in surprise. Zaro felt so proud. He finally did it. But Zaro's loud roar had an unexpected effect. Hiding among the tall blades of grass was a tiny grey mouse named Raffi. Raffi was a very clever mouse with big, curious blue eyes. He spent his days inventing little gadgets from twigs and leaves and solving puzzles he found in nature. He was very different from Zaro. Raffi was cautious and always thought carefully before he acted. When Raffi heard Zaro's sudden, booming roar, it startled him so much that his whiskers twitched. He thought a huge, scary beast was nearby. Without a second thought, he scurried away as fast as his little legs could carry him, his heart pounding like a tiny drum. He zigzagged through the grass, not watching where he was going. Suddenly, the ground beneath him gave way, and with a little yelp, Raffi tumbled down, down, into a small, dark hole. He landed softly on a pile of leaves at the bottom of a little pit someone had dug. It wasn't very deep, but the sides were too smooth and steep for a little mouse to climb. "Oh dear!" Raffi squeaked, looking up at the circle of blue sky far above. "I'm trapped!" He tried to jump, he tried to scramble, but he just couldn't get out. He felt a little scared and all alone. Meanwhile, Zaro, still beaming with pride over his magnificent roar, noticed the rustling grass where Raffi had been. Curious, he padded over to investigate. He peeked over the edge of the hole and saw the tiny mouse huddled at the bottom. Zaro's heart sank. He hadn't meant to scare anyone, especially not someone so small. He saw Raffi's worried face and realized his big, brave roar had caused a big problem. "Hello down there," Zaro called, his voice now gentle and soft. "Are you okay?" Raffi looked up, surprised to see the little lion cub peering down at him. He was a bit scared, but Zaro's kind eyes made him feel a little safer. "I'm stuck," Raffi called back. The car climbed out. Zaro's brave heart filled with a different kind of feeling. Now not the pride of a loud roar, but the desire to help. This was a real chance to be a guardian. He looked around, his mind racing. He was strong, but how could his strength help a tiny mouse? He tried to reach down with his paw, but the hole was just a little too deep. Just then, a soft, beautiful light began to glow nearby. A stunning blue butterfly, with wings that shimmered like the dawn sky, fluttered silently and landed on a branch overlooking the hole. This was Flora, the silent guide of the forest. She didn't speak, but her gentle presence always brought hope and clarity. Her light seemed to shine on a long, sturdy vine hanging from a nearby tree. Zaro saw the vine and then looked at Raffi. An idea sparked in his mind. "I have an idea!" he exclaimed. He ran to the vine and began to gnaw on it with his little teeth. It was tough, but he was determined. He pulled and tugged until a long piece of the vine snapped free. It was like a strong rope. Raffi watched from the bottom of the pit, his clever mind starting to work too. He saw what Zaro was doing and understood the plan. "Hey!" Raffi shouted up. "If you can lower that vine down here, I can tie it to myself. Then you can pull me up." Zaro nodded eagerly. He carefully pushed one end of the vine down into the hole until it dangled right in front of Raffi. Raffi, being an expert at knots and gadgets, quickly and skillfully tied the vine around his waist, making a secure little harness. "Okay," he squeaked. "I'm ready!" Zaro planted his paws firmly on the ground. He grabbed the other end of the vine in his mouth and began to pull. He pulled with all his might, his little muscles straining. It was hard work. He walked backward, step by step, leaning into the effort. Slowly, very slowly, Raffi began to rise out of the hole. Up, up, up he went, until finally, he was lifted right onto the soft grass beside Zaro. Raffi quickly untied the vine and shook himself off. He looked at the golden lion cub who had just rescued him. Zaro was panting a little, but his face was lit up with a huge, happy smile. "Thank you," Raffi said, his voice full of gratitude. "You saved me." "Oh, I was so scared when I heard your roar." Zaro's ears drooped a little. "I'm so sorry I frightened you," he said sincerely. "I was just practicing. I didn't mean to cause any trouble." He then added, "You're really smart, knowing how to tie that knot so well." Raffi's whiskers twitched happily. "And you're really brave and strong," he replied. "I couldn't have gotten out without you." At that moment, standing there in the sunny field, Zaro the lion and Raffi the mouse looked at each other. Zaro realized that true courage wasn't just about being loud and strong. It was about using that strength to be kind and to help others. And Raffi discovered that even though he was small, his clever ideas could make a huge difference, especially when paired with a friend's bravery. From the nearby branch, Flora the butterfly glowed even brighter, her silent light celebrating the new bond between them. Zaro and Raffi smiled. They knew this was the start of a wonderful friendship. The brave little lion and the clever little mouse. Together, they were a perfect team. They knew that many more adventures in the colorful forest were waiting just for them. And so, our story for today comes to a close. Zaro and Raffi learned that true friendship is born when courage and kindness come together. What adventures do you think they'll have next? Thank you so much for joining us on this wonderful journey.